So if you didn't know, on January 30th, there's going to be the first DLC coming out for COD World War II. Link on the screen if you haven't seen it to my video. But I was browsing the internet today, and I came across this article on Charlie Intel, link in the description as always. And it says, Sledgehammer game says, big in-game event coming for World War II. Next big update coming in a few weeks, whatever. You scroll down. This is from Michael Condrey. And a few weapon nerfs are going to be taking place. And a few buffs are going to be taking place also. So the Kar 98K, they're considering an ADS time nerf, because apparently it's like the fastest in the game or something like that. And then they're going to be buffing the FG42, because they did nerf the fire rate last time, and I feel like it's a little too slow now. And then it says it's a great weapon that we want to have as a viable option with the other ARs and SMGs, and then might need to find a median between where it was and where it is now. Okay, fine. Now, scrolling down past the M1 Garand to the STG, such an iconic assault rifle, whatever. They need to make it slightly more competitive to compete with the Bar Garand and FG if they buff it. But when I saw the M1 Garand one, it got me thinking that, I've seen a couple pro players kind of, saying how the M1 Garand's OP and, like it needs to be nerfed and whatever else, and it's too good. And it just got me thinking that, as soon as these guys complain, Sledgehammer, Michael Condrey, and these guys, like as soon as one of these guys complain, they nerf it right away. And, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. Everybody is entitled to complain. And, I'm not saying you can't have your own opinion. But, I mean, let's be real for a second here. With the M1 Garand, I don't play competitive. And, I'm pretty sure a lot of you watching this don't play competitive. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we're talking about such a small percentage of the community that does play competitive. And, the fact that these guys, just because a few, it's like less than 10%. I'm willing to bet it's less than 10% of people that play World War II play competitive. And you're trying to tell me that, this small amount of people want this gun nerfed. And then, Condrey and the boys, they right away, they say, okay, we're going to nerf the Garand. And then, so it's like you kind of, like, if you watch my videos, you probably play COD World War II. And, ask yourself, when do you get killed by this gun? Because me personally, I'm not sure if you could even check that on World War II, how many times you've been killed by a gun. I don't think Sledgehammer's that, what do you call it? Like, that complicated, I guess you could call it, or that in-depth, like the Black Ops combat record. But, just by, like, your memory and stuff like that, it's like, with the M1 Garand, it's like, you can probably count on, with just your fingers, like, once, 10, like, under 10 times, you've been killed by this gun. Because, the gun, like, if we're being honest, people don't use this gun in public matches. Everybody's using the Bar, the STG, the FG, the PPSH. Sometimes you see an odd grease gun. People are jumping on the Lewis gun lately. And then it's like, like, I barely die by this gun. And, as soon as these guys complain that, it's OP and competitive or in ranked, Condrey and the boys, to keep the pro players happy, they say, all right, we're going to nerf this gun. But it's like, you can't do that, because, if it was like the other half or the other part of the community, if it was, the other 90% of the people complaining, the M1 Garand's OP, I'm pretty sure it would have gotten nerfed, but not as fast as if, like when the pros said it. Because, like the pros, don't get me wrong, the pros, they probably have been saying it. But it's just, I feel like Condrey and the boys, they want to keep these guys happy because, a lot of these guys stream the game, or, they talk about, they talk about the game a lot on Twitter, so they're saying, oh, Like, and then when people see them streaming the game and say, oh, you know what, like people that are on the fence about, you know, COD World War II, you know, they might see, you know, their favorite competitive player streaming it, and then, you know, they go out and pick it up. So it's basically free advertising for, you know, Condry and them. So, you know, Condry has to keep them happy so they keep playing, so they get free advertising. So, you know, it's kind of, I guess you could say there's kind of like some, like a hidden agenda, you know, if you kind of want to call it that. And, you know, I know this sounds far-fetched, but like when you think about it, like it could definitely be a real thing. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's just, I don't really agree with this, just because, you know, a small amount of people complained about something, and, you know, something's gonna get nerfed. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm only one person. I have an extremely small voice in this community, but, you know, at this point, you can't really do much, because, you know, it's pretty much guaranteed that it's gonna happen. So, you know, you kind of just have to live with it. So if you do use the M1 Garand, I know I used it for a bit, and, you know, the 2-shot potential was crazy, but it's just, you know, the gun has recoil. The gun has a lot of recoil. You know, it like I said, yes, it is a 2-shot kill. It only has 8 shots in it without extended mags. But yeah, that, I mean, as far as like a solution, I mean, I guess you could say that if it's possible, you know, they can only make these changes in ranked. Or, you know, when you go to private match and you could make you could put on the competitive game mode, you know, maybe Condry and the boys, you know, maybe they can kind of nerf it in ranked, and then in the competitive game mode in private match for people that play, like, you know, game battles and, you know, whatever else. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. So if you do use the M1 Garand, your gun is getting nerfed. But yeah, that's pretty much it. As always, link is in the description, and my video will be on the screen. And then, you know, that's pretty much it. So thank you, everybody, for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.